The year is 2025. The world watches as the political landscape shifts dramatically. Donald Trump, a phoenix risen from the ashes of impeachment and electoral defeat, has made an unexpected comeback. He is back in the Oval Office, a place he once called home, now reclaimed with renewed vigor. His return heralds a new era of hardline policies, particularly on immigration, a cornerstone of his political identity. Latin America, long accustomed to the ebb and flow of U.S. political tides, braces for impact. The region is no stranger to the repercussions of U.S. policies. Trump's message is clear: the era of leniency is over. His rhetoric is as fiery as ever, resonating with his base and alarming his critics. The U.S. border will be defended with an iron fist. Security measures are ramped up and the border becomes a fortress. Trump's primary weapon is the resurrected Remain in Mexico policy, a controversial measure that forces asylum seekers to wait in Mexico. This policy forces asylum seekers to languish in dangerous border towns while awaiting their fate, often in dire conditions. Deportation flights, packed with bewildered souls, become a grim spectacle. The human cost of these policies is stark and undeniable. The message reverberates across the Americas: the path north is fraught with peril. Migrants face an increasingly hostile journey, but Trump's ambitions extend beyond simply stemming the flow. He seeks to reshape the geopolitical landscape of the Western Hemisphere. He envisions a grand bargain, a quid pro quo with Latin American leaders. Cooperation in curbing migration will be met with economic incentives and promises of stability. Their cooperation in curbing migration will be met with economic incentives and promises of stability. However, the underlying tension is palpable. Yet, lurking beneath the surface is an unspoken threat: defy me and face the consequences. The stakes are high, and the pressure is immense. The tremors of Trump's return are felt most acutely in Colombia, a nation grappling with its own internal struggles and the spillover from Venezuela's ongoing crisis. Colombia is a nation grappling with its own internal struggles and the spillover from Venezuela's ongoing crisis. The situation is volatile and complex. Newly elected President Gustavo Petro, a former guerrilla fighter and a vocal critic of U.S. imperialism, represents a stark departure from his predecessors. His leadership marks a new chapter for Colombia. His election sends shockwaves through the region, a harbinger of potential change in the Latin American political landscape. The future is uncertain, and the world watches with bated breath. Gustavo Petro, a man forged in the crucible of revolution, is not one to back down from a challenge. His life has been a testament to resilience and unwavering commitment to justice. He sees the plight of the migrants, many fleeing violence and poverty in their homelands, and feels a kinship, a shared history of struggle against oppression. These migrants are not just statistics to him, they are people with dreams, fears, and hopes for a better future. When Trump's deportation machine sets its sights on Colombia, Petro takes a stand, his voice a clarion call of resistance. He denounces the deportation flights as inhumane, a violation of human rights. He accuses the U.S. of shirking its responsibility to provide refuge to those in need. His words are not merely diplomatic pronouncements, they carry the weight of conviction, the echoes of a revolutionary past. Petro's defiance resonates with many in Colombia and beyond, particularly among the marginalized and the dispossessed. He becomes a symbol of hope, a leader willing to stand up to the global superpower. But his stance also draws criticism, both at home and abroad. Some accuse him of grandstanding, of picking a fight he cannot win. Yet Petro remains undeterred. He believes that moral principles are non-negotiable, even in the face of overwhelming power. He calls on other Latin American leaders to join him, to present a united front against what he sees as U.S. bullying. His appeal, however, falls on deaf ears. Despite the lack of immediate support, Petro's message continues to inspire those who yearn for justice and equality. His journey is far from over, and his fight against deportation is just one chapter in a larger struggle for human dignity and rights. As long as there are voices to be heard and injustices to be challenged, Gustavo Petro will remain a beacon of defiance. His legacy will be defined not just by his words, but by his unwavering commitment to stand up for what he believes is right. In the face of adversity, Petro's resolve only strengthens, embodying the spirit of resistance that has defined his life and career. His story is a reminder that the fight for justice is never easy, but it is always necessary. And as long as there are those who are willing to stand up and speak out, the spirit of defiance will never be extinguished. Gustavo Petro's journey is a testament to the enduring power of conviction and the unyielding pursuit of justice. Trump, a master of the art of the deal, responds to Petro's defiance with characteristic bluster and aggression. His approach is not just about politics, it's a personal vendetta, a show of strength to the world. He views Petro's challenge as a direct affront to his authority, a threat to his vision of American dominance. For Trump, maintaining a strong image is crucial, and any sign of weakness could be detrimental. The U.S. under Trump's leadership will not be lectured to, let alone defied by a small, insignificant nation like Colombia. This stance is a clear message to other nations as well. Defiance will not be tolerated. Trump unleashes his weapon of choice economic warfare. This strategy has been a hallmark of his administration, using economic pressure to achieve political goals. He threatens to slap crippling tariffs on Colombian exports, particularly targeting the country's vital coffee and flour industries. These sectors are the lifeblood of Colombia's economy, making them prime targets. The Colombian economy, already fragile, shudders under the weight of potential sanctions. The threat alone sends ripples of fear through the market, affecting businesses and livelihoods. Petro, in turn, threatens retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods, vowing not to be bullied into submission. His defiance is a bold move, aimed at rallying national pride and support. He knows that an economic war with the U.S. would be devastating, but he is also aware that backing down would shatter his credibility and embolden Trump further. It's a delicate balance of power and perception. It is a high-stakes game of chicken, with the fate of both nations hanging in the balance. Each move is calculated, with both leaders trying to outmaneuver the other. The trade dispute sends shockwaves through the global market. Investors around the world watch anxiously as the economic standoff threatens to destabilize international trade. Investors panic, pulling their money out of Colombia, fearing a prolonged economic downturn. The uncertainty drives market volatility, affecting not just Colombia but also its trading partners. The Colombian peso plummets in value, further exacerbating the crisis. The devaluation impacts everyday Colombians, making imports more expensive and reducing purchasing power. The specter of economic collapse looms large, threatening to undo years of progress. The situation is dire, with the potential to push Colombia into a deep recession. As the confrontation with the U.S. escalates, Petro finds himself increasingly isolated on the international stage. His calls for Latin American solidarity against U.S. aggression go unanswered. The region, once united in its opposition to U.S. interventionism, is now a fractured landscape of self-interest and political expediency. Mexico, under the leadership of Andrés Manuel López Obrador, chooses a pragmatic approach, prioritizing its economic relationship with the U.S. over any sense of regional solidarity. Brazil, under the newly elected Jair Bolsonaro, a Trump admirer, sides openly with the U.S., praising Trump's hardline stance on immigration. Even leftist leaders in countries like Argentina and Chile, while expressing sympathy for Petro's position, are reluctant to risk their own fragile economies by antagonizing the U.S. The era of Latin American unity, it seems, is a distant memory, replaced by a pragmatic embrace of realpolitik. Petro's isolation is a bitter pill to swallow. He had hoped to rally the region behind him, to forge a united front against what he sees as U.S. imperialism. Instead, he finds himself alone, facing the full brunt of Trump's wrath. The dream of a Latin America free from U.S. dominance seems more distant than ever.